being shot on the president. He asked if he's here on Facebook, obviously. He hadn't even seen anything that I typed to him for a while. So, he typed in Boulder. No, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. Something like that. I'm like, all right, well, okay. I haven't been able to go to Boulder in years. I haven't been able to go to Boulder safely since before Natalie was killed. Matter of fact, it was October of 2016. Natalie's sister, Alicia, made sure to guarantee I'd be targeted as soon as I got to Boulder. Just couldn't help herself. For me, having to post in public, being denied the right to speak in my own court dates, being denied the right to turn in evidence, being denied the right to face my accusers, being separated from my friends and family, being separated from the funds that I needed to take care of myself. And then people get to treat me like shit because they wanted to do everything except help me to turn it in. I didn't need help taking care of myself. I can fucking do that at that point in time. What I needed was help turning it in. Someone to help me turn it in. That is what I fought for so goddamn hard. But nobody listens. They talk over me. From Mateo Talbot to, well, literally everyone. Even if they listen for a little bit, they end up doing what? Talking over me and making the same suggestions over and over again. You all know it doesn't work if I have to go in by myself. Your excuses are shit. People pretended like I threatened to kill them and they were allowed to harm me greatly. You tell me that people actually threatened your life, but you never came forward about it. You made me do it. You could have come forward and kept a lot of your private shit private, but you don't get to now. It all has to go public. Do you know why? Because I am being abused by the public, and many others are being abused by the public. We need to have a society where people are held accountable. No one is held accountable for harming me. Nobody. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and nobody gives a shit. There's a difference between those women who go to the gym and try to catch pictures of, oh my God, a man glanced your direction. Jesus fucking Christ, yes, we should all be hung publicly, huh? No, that's fucking insanity. Then you won't let me be heard. No, I'm the wrong color to be heard, aren't I? I'm the wrong gender to be heard, aren't I? Well, here's the thing. My gender makes me the most likely person to be a victim of a violent crime. I am more likely to be murdered than a woman by a lot. I am more likely to be shot by police by a lot. 96% of those killed by police are men. 96%. How many times have you tried to pretend that women aren't violent, don't get violent, are never violent? Shit, most of the women that I know are only violent in public so far as they let us know. But how many of y'all have gone to a street dance or, hell, gone to any event and seen a woman smacking a man? You have to look the other way to not notice that shit. Men have to be afraid of doing such a thing at a venue like that because they might get mobbed and beaten to death. The thing is, I'm not a violent person, and I never was. The thing is, I make a distinction between violence and defense. If someone is shooting at you, that's violence. Shooting back is defense. If someone is beating on you, that's violence. Whatever it takes for you to get them to stop beating on you is defense. Some of y'all say, hey, you should just cover up. You know what happens when you just cover up? They just keep swinging. And they think all you're ever going to do is cover up, so they'll do it again and again and again. They'll talk down to you, belittle you, berate you, and treat you like shit. As a man, I'm alone. You get to hear how many men and women saw these things, had these things happen even by my predators to them too, and they did not come forward. They did not come forward with the victim. They didn't even try. All these folks who wanted to tell me how afraid they were. Well, maybe you should speak up about your fears instead of making me do it. When you're telling me, you're talking to the peanut gallery. Why aren't you sharing the information with others? Oh, yes, I forgot. Most of you found out about me through Natalie Bollinger groups that didn't bother to tell you the truth. By the way, I was blocked from those Natalie Bollinger groups, while most of you who never knew Natalie were not. And then they take little bits and pieces to show you assholes, to try to incite you to harm me, and you harm me. This was all decided before there was ever a day in court. I'd been taking abuse for over a year as if I was guilty of being some sicko because some fucking junkie didn't want to tell the truth. Oh, how dare you say junkie, Sean? She was pretty. And my mom was ugly as fuck, but she's still a hoe. People wanted to go through and make their decisions based on my looks. You know what my looks are from? Years of living in hell. Years of abuse. Years of being told that I deserve it because I'm a male. I deserve it because mentally ill. No. That mentally ill tag is used to abuse both male and female victims, both adult and children victims. The mentally ill tag. Like when that 14-year-old girl over at the Safeway parking lot, what was she trying to do? That was here in Tillamook. She was trying to turn in her stepfather. And how did that work out? Even with her friends, they're saying, hey, we're trying to back her up. We're trying to be here for our friend. She's trying to turn in her fucking stepdad. What happened? Sheriff's deputy gets out of his vehicle, doesn't say nothing, just runs over, grabs her, spins her around, runs her into the side of his fucking vehicle, and slams her on the ground. What the fuck? 14-year-old girl. Then the people from Tillamook Family Counseling Center want to come stand right next to my vehicle and illegally conspire to have that girl locked up on suicide watch. Now she's going to have the tag of mentally ill. What's the next step? For girls, it's cutting. For boys, it's suicide. Someone called themselves Jake Johnston erased 2 messages. The first one was a good point. Now, I don't know what this guy is playing at, but I usually take screenshots of people who type stuff at me, especially if they delete stuff. That's something a lot of people wanted to do too. They wanted to tell me their thoughts, feelings, and opinions, but they also wanted to hide them. What happened to our First Amendment rights? We don't have them. Anything that you say can be reinterpreted and misinterpreted by people who choose positions of predatory power, i.e. all of those women across this country getting pregnant by 13 and 14-year-old boys. One of them in Colorado, 31 years old, got pregnant by a 13-year-old boy. No jail. They sentenced her to nothing. How about Brenda? She was having sex with a 14-year-old boy. Brenda Griffith, I know her personally. And the 14-year-old boy is an adult now with a family of his own. She got 8 months. That's the average for a woman, just so you know. The average for a man is like 16 years, but that's only because we have so many men who have been in prison, literally in prison for urinating, just so you know. If you're homeless, you can go to prison for urinating in public. If you're a college student in Boulder, Colorado, you're not having to go to prison. It's a $100 mail-in ticket, urinating in public. So, there's a lot of people that I've told off. The reason I told them off is because they're not my friends. If a female come to you and said that she's being abused, how long would it take you to actually fucking kick into action? Would it take you 6 weeks? Would it take you 8 weeks? Would it take you 17 months? Would it take you 6 years? Or will I be still asking you in 2023 over incidents that you should have come forward about all the way in 2016? I first started going to my friends and family in 2016 because I already knew what the fucking course of action to take was. But none of these people would try what the legal course of action is. None of them would try actually turning in my predators with me so that I wasn't blown off or lied to. I hurt my back in October of 2015, a year before I went to visit Natalie. And my friends like Brandon Ratner, I was trying to get myself a work vehicle, a little S10 that he had. I'd already given him $200. Other people taking advantage of me. It resulted in me having to move into storage. I hurt my back moving a gun lathe. It sucked. Anyway, that was when I went up and got my teeth fixed, is when I had that place in 2015. It was a little shop outside of Boulder. When I was out there, people know they can rip me off. They know that I'm different. The people are less likely to listen to me. I'm not good looking, so I automatically lose. I'm also autistic and I have Tourette syndrome, so you get to pretend all sorts of shit. Oh, he must be on drugs. Oh, dude. You get to see how my predators, like Natalie Bollinger and her entire family, on drugs. And people feel sorry for them after everything that they did to force her to slice herself to ribbons. Jake Johnson typed, I asked why I cared so much about Natalie so much. I deleted it because I didn't want to upset you. I cared so much because after I got fucked over by my friend Josh Hughes and ended up letting Brandon Ratner and his girlfriend have That money that was supposed to be for a vehicle, that's right, I was going to buy me that S10 for my birthday in 2015. After that, when my back was fucked, my friends forgot that I exist. I didn't have the ability to walk them to the warming shelters every night. I didn't have the ability to even go to the church feeds. I was fucked. I couldn't walk a block without help. If I did walk a block, I had to sit down for at least 45 minutes. And all my friends wanted to tell me, well, you just need to get a job. Veronica had sold me a bike. I was glad to have the bike, but then she wanted to be angry with me because I wasn't using the bike to get to work. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go. I couldn't get on the bike. The bike was all the way over at Josh Hughes's. He was able to get a place when he got me kicked out. What a swell feller. And you say it's my fault. Oh, well, you shouldn't have let him. You know what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. How about we find a solution? See, I don't get to make other people's decisions for them. That's something you guys keep throwing at me. Like I get to make their decisions for me. I was good to these people. They screwed me over and didn't care. I thought Josh was in the same situation as me. Nope. As soon as he got us kicked out of my shop, his parents in Texas rented him a place in Boulder. You know how expensive that is? Anyway, I was stuck homeless at that point on the streets. Natalie Bollinger come in. She sat down next to me, said, you know, I was going to kill myself 100 times, and thinking of you was the reason I didn't. You know what I was on my way to do when she come in? I was on my way to take a bunch of Vicodin. A bunch of it. I didn't want to be here anymore. I was tired of my friends treating me like Veronica treating me like I'm a crappy person because I won't ride a bike that I can't even get to. And Natalie come into my life, and she actually helped me the way that I had been helping people for decades. Decades. Every time somebody needed help and come and asked, fucking there I was, helping them out best I could. How they asked. When I try to explain to people, hey, I'm not good with computers. I know how to search on YouTube, and I know how to use Facebook and sometimes my emails. And you wouldn't think Facebook would be more difficult than emails, or you would think it would be, but it's really not. Not when you use it often. And I needed help setting all that stuff up. People assume that because I had a computer that I knew how to do all that. I didn't. Natalie came in, and she had a big old crush on me, and I thought I talked her out of it. People go, ew, dude, no way. Like, dude, I was good to everybody. I don't ask people to have crushes on me. And I wasn't always completely ugly, just always had a giant schnoz. I didn't start losing my hair till I was 16. No matter where I go, it's always the same shit. Sure, people might talk nicely to me. But then when it comes to helping me, they talk over me and down to me. When you get to something that's important to say, every one of these people does the same thing. They try to talk over you so they don't hear nothing. Then these people don't go back and stop and think to themselves. Sean did reach out to me an awful lot for fucking help. I wonder why it is he's still reaching out to me for help. You guys just assume somebody else is going to do it. When you say you're going to do it, then it becomes an argument. Instead of you helping how I need, you're going to redo the agreement because you know you can get away with it. You know I'm stuck in a subservient environment. You know I'm stuck on the streets. You know if you don't keep your word, it's going to screw me over. But also, who cares? I'm just a hobo. I'm just a man. Unfortunately, I'm the man you blame for people who are actually predators. Like Waylon Lolatai. Yeah, maybe you should look that pot. English, please. I was going to say 3 different insults at once. It just wasn't coming out. He's a police officer, or at least he was. Let's take a look at the majority of the women that claim that they would help. What did it end up being? Telling me how to think and how to feel? A bunch of pretty fucking memes. And the more physically attractive a woman she is, the more she thought that shit is supposed to fucking work. Well, I have a penis. I'm not sure if you noticed, especially through all your rants against men, and all of your hatred of men. But if you hadn't noticed, I am a bearded feller. I understand that I don't go pulling out my equipment and showing it. I shouldn't have to. If I do that, I get a charge. Jake Johnston type, wow, it is refreshing to hear your side of the story. Dude, Natalie was a badass. There ain't no fucking doubt about that. She was fucking awesome. The reason that Natalie and I were friends, before she was 18, she used to go around and sell drugs at the library for her dad. I didn't find that out until many years later. But I didn't go down to the library often. I stayed at Starbucks. I was known as Starbucks Sean. I escorted the people who worked at Starbucks out to the garbage can because, well, there was a few instances where they was going to get stabbed. The guy who was going to get stabbed, his name was Aaron, and he later blew his head off. There's another guy at Starbucks named Tom who found him. Anyway, Natalie wasn't willing to get on the plane to go to Virginia in 2016. This is when she came and rescued me just a few months after. She'd tried to get me a job with some beekeepers. There was a lot of issues with her boyfriend being a fucking violent asshole and stealing her dog, and her boss trying to have sex with her, and he was a family friend, and God, dude, her life was messed up. People want to tell me about how messed up her life is or was. I know. She told me. She told a lot of people. And a lot of people did nothing. She told a lot of people about her dad molesting her. Nobody gave a shit. They're too busy trying to get some. When she was younger, I ran her and her sister off best I could. I tried to run off all them young'uns. We all did. They're bad news. People just assume bad shit if they see people like that around people like us. And bad shit was going on. She was having sex with a lot of those nasty fuckers. And I know many of them nasty fuckers. If I'd have known that at the time, those guys would not have fared well. I got a big mouth. And I don't like fucking child molesters. I don't like people who take advantage of children. When they were about 13 or 14, they were in sleeping bags, one of them with a guy named Emery and one with a guy named Arturo. And I told them they needed to go away. They needed to go home, and they needed to stay there, that it wasn't safe for them there. And I let Emery and Arturo know that they were not to come back. Well, they did come back. It's disgusting. Anyway, between when she was 13 and when she came into the Starbucks when she was 18 and rescued me, like, I hadn't seen her. There was one occasion where I was sitting down next to the mall, and Natalie and her sister, they were only 17 at the time, by the way. I hadn't seen them since they were 14. And I didn't know they were only 17. Didn't know how old they were at all. And they were walking with 2 older guys. And of course, one of them ran up to me, and I didn't know which was which at the time. We knew them as the twins, and the twins were supposed to be not down there. They brought a lot of drama and a lot of unnecessary attention, and it was always negative attention. So Natalie and her sister, one of them gave me a hug, and they both gave me wrote their names down, and told me to hit them up on Facebook. I did, and then I forgot about them. I mean, what else was I going to do? I didn't know they were only 17. I just knew it had been a lot of years since I'd seen them. I knew they were friends with Maddie Boa, and Maddie Boa was, well, she was running around at the time saying she was 18. I don't know if she was or not. I didn't ask for any ID. I wasn't smoking pot with her or fucking buying drugs from her. It just turned into a really screwed up situation real quick when she was not willing to go to Virginia unless I promised to go. I had to go visit her, and me and Maddie Boa, we worked together to try to plan a trip so that we go together so I didn't have to drive alone. After she'd rescued me, I was fucking, I was glad. I was glad that somebody actually listened to me. Instead of just talking over me and telling me how to think and feel, understood that I did not have the physical ability to do as I was being told. The police at the time wouldn't leave me the fuck alone just because I was a hobo. When she rescued me, like she really seriously rescued me from killing myself over the fucking bullshit from Boulder Police Department. Not being able to sleep, going to my friends and family and having them just talk over me and tell me, oh, you just need to man up. Fuck you. You know? That's really how it is for us. A man is supposed to do it himself. A woman is supposed to ask a whole bunch of men to do it with her, or ends up often being for her. And then she talks about how she did it all herself. No, that manual labor was not yours. That was other people's. The people who did things to help me, I admitted the things they did to help me. They just never came forward about it. And then later on, they wanted to throw those things in my face on the way out the door. They always like to get the last word, don't they? That's what it's about, one up in the next person. That's the world we live in now. This is the defy ourselves by dividing and conquering. Right? We divide ourselves and then we conquer ourselves through stupidity. BLM turned into a racist hate group. Me Too turned into a sexist hate group. We're told about these good ideas and what they're doing for us as people, especially what they're doing for women. My question is, why are we giving so much to women? Why are men forced to give so much to women? When they're abusive to us, we are forced to take the abuse or forced to move over and over and over again. And when it becomes popular and thrown up on the news, and then becomes popular in all these web wingnut sites, people do horrible things, and your voice is never heard. My friends and family, since Natalie's death, gave me empty promises and took me for all I'm worth. Then again, I'm a homeless and disabled male. I can't go to the fucking cops. And it doesn't have anything to do with being innocent or guilty. It has to do with being easy to fucking railroad, and every one of you know this. BLM knows it's a poverty issue. They're just being racist. MMIP knows it's a poverty issue. They're just being racist. Me Too knows that it's a sexist issue where men are not allowed to speak, not allowed to defend themselves, where bias is used as judge, jury, and executioner without a day in court or a court of law, anything closely approaching it. You get to see how police acted inappropriately repeatedly. How I had to be afraid to go to them alone, and my friends who said that they would go in. What does my paperwork say to do? What are the instructions for an at-risk and disabled adult? I'm supposed to go to my friends and family, and they're supposed to help me turn it in. That's because once you've been blown off by the police, it's 100 times harder to get them to do their goddamn jobs, because they already fucked up their jobs. It's no longer in their fucking interest to do anything about your predators because they already had the chance. They want to use mentally ill to harm me, and then I'm magically sane when it comes to punishing me in a court of law. Magically, I'm sane. I'm too crazy to give a police report, right? But then I'm too sane to be treated like a crazy person. Except I am treated like a crazy person. I am overwhelmed. I am showing signs of severe PTSD. And what am I getting treated like for it? Like I'm some fucking nut job out threatening to kill everybody and everything and so on and so on and so on. Anyway, I'm sorry that everything is all disorganized when I speak, but I'm always overwhelmed. And then there's all these folks from these web wingnut sites that get on here, harass me and troll me. And then there's those Natalie sites where they try to convince people to get on and destroy my voice, destroy my words, destroy my evidence. Destroy the fact that I did what I was supposed to do. And it didn't work because I had to go in alone. Because I have a penis. Because I'm homeless, which means I'm very, very, very broke. I'm not going to get hurt unless someone cares. And they have to actually use their fucking mouths. Speak. Instead, it's you need to do this and you need to do that. A lot of women tried to take control. Like, no, you need to know what the fuck is going on instead of bullying me into doing what you want or promising me that if I do what you want, that you'll help me how I need. And then once I've fulfilled my end of the bargain, you're gone. I'm tired of being treated like a woman wants to gawk me down, stare me down. As I'm walking through a parking lot, she's allowed, but I gotta be afraid to look up because I'm not attractive. I gotta be worried that a woman will pretend I'm some sort of a creeper who just wants to rape her because I'm not attractive. It doesn't matter how good a person I am. Looks and money, bud. Looks and money.